Hi, I'm Laurie Lehman, and I'm a coordinator for the Wrightsville Elementary School for Bible Adventure and for the CIA Christians in Action program in the Eastern York School District, grades 6th through 12th. And today we're going to be learning a Bible Adventure lesson on becoming fishers of men and women. And today we're going to be talking about Jesus' ministry when he first started out with his ministry and teaching people about him and his love for them. We're going to look at our key verse for today, Matthew 4:19. Come follow me, Jesus said, and I will send you out to fish for people. So we know that normally when we talk about fishing, we fish for fish. And one time I went along to go fishing. I didn't fish myself, but other people were. And my family members, I have a couple kids who enjoy fishing a lot. So today we're going to be talking about being fishers of people. So here I have a fishing rod and we're going to catch some people. So we're not going to actually go out with a rod and a hook and put it on people, but you know, we're not going to fish for Lois Ann or Mim or Jan or Aaron or Kim or Caleb. That's not the kind of fishing we're talking about. Today we're going to talk about fishing in a way that helps people to know about Jesus. So we're going to start in the beginning of our lesson as it reads. It was time for Jesus to begin his ministry on earth. Jesus approached John the Baptist and was baptized. Now John led the way for Jesus. He was telling people ahead of time that he's the Messiah. He was preparing the way. And Jesus had never sinned, so he didn't need baptism for forgiveness of sin, but he was setting an example for us. After John baptized Jesus, heaven opened up, and the Spirit of God came down like a dove, and he said, "This is my Son, whom I love. With him I am well pleased." John the Baptist began promoting the ministry of Jesus. So Jesus went into the wilderness to prepare for his official ministry time, where he was tempted so much by Satan. And of course, Jesus, he's never sinned, did not give in to those temptations. Now Jesus was ready to serve publicly. Simon, Peter, and Andrew were fishermen in the Sea of Galilee. They had fished all night and were cleaning their nets when Jesus approached them. A crowd of people was gathered around Jesus, so he got into a boat owned by Peter and Andrew and asked Peter to put it out into the water. After Jesus taught the crowd, he asked Peter to push it out into deeper water and let down the nets for a catch of fish. Well, Peter had just finished fishing all night, and he didn't think they would catch anything. He said to him in Luke 5, verse 5, "Master, we've worked hard all night, and we haven't caught anything, but because you say so, I will let down the nets." So he was obedient and did as Jesus had said. The net was so full of fish that they had to call their partners to come to their rescue. James and John were in the other boat that came to the rescue, and the nets were so full that the boats were filled with fish, and the boats began to sink. Immediately, Peter recognized Jesus' authority, and he fell to his knees and said, "Go away from me, Lord, I am a sinful man." Think about it. Have you ever been in a situation where you felt God saying to do something, but you didn't trust what he was saying? I think at times where our Bible adventure, we walk to and from the school to the church. And there's been times where it was raining. Even one particular time, it was lightning and thundering. And even before I got to the church, before we started Bible adventure, I was worried. I was like, oh man, what are we going to do? Because we don't have a bus or cars, we got to walk. And at that point, Jesus said, "Oh, you of little faith," is the verse that came to my mind. And I needed to trust Jesus that he was going to provide the way. This happened throughout the past 3 years, and God every single time has provided the way. He has either completely stopped the rains or maybe a slight drizzle. But when there was a storm, one time in particular, it was lightning and thundering. And our staff was concerned because, of course, we can't walk with the kids in the thunder and lightning and downpours. So we just stopped what we were doing and we prayed. And sure enough, God provided that safe way for us to pick the kids up, bring them to the church, take them back to school. And when we got back after dropping the kids off, it started to thunder again. So God provided that way. So we need to trust God. We need to trust that he will provide the way. So Jesus invited Peter and Andrew and James and John to leave their nets and boats and everything and come with him. Jesus was not well known at the time, but his words still carried authority. The fishermen brought their boats to shore and immediately left everything and followed Jesus. We aren't told what happened to the boats or the nets or the fish, but what we do know is the Bible says they left everything to follow Jesus. This may have been the best catch that these men ever had. James and Andrew, Peter and John, this might have been bigger than they've ever experienced in their life of being these professional fishermen. But Jesus said, I'm going to make you a new kind of fisherman. You're not going to use nets to catch fish. Instead, I'm going to show you how to become a fisher of men. You're going to tell other people about God's love, and you're going to catch people for Jesus. Can you imagine if that was you and you were an experienced professional fisherman and this was the best catch you've ever done? You could have made a lot of money off these fish, but instead, you chose to follow Jesus. It is so important for us to go out there and tell boys and girls, men and women about Jesus, for us to catch them for Jesus. We want them to know the love that God has for them. So when he talks about fishing for men and women, I want you to really think about what that means for you. Are you willing to go out and tell people about him? And are you willing to be a fisherman of men and women? So I hope that you will study your verse, memorize it. If you don't know your listener's phone number, your coordinator's number to recite it to earn your points, I urge you to call out to Joyelle and tell them what Bible Adventure you're from and that you'd like to memorize your verse and recite it over the phone to them if you are not able to appear in person at Bible Adventure, if you have to do online Bible Adventure. But we encourage you to memorize the word and not just do it to earn the points, but to also think about what does this mean to you. We want all of you to be fishermen and women for Jesus. And we hope you have a good rest of your day. Thank you. Bye.